Hi everyone and welcome to SWPL My Story Scotland edition, and as always we're joined by Suzanne Winters. How are you, Suzanne?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
No, I'm great, thanks, and thanks for joining us just to reflect on the couple of games that we've had over the last few days for the national team. So on paper, a good result in the first game against the Philippines, probably one that we'd have expected to do a little bit better in. The draw with Finland and then losing on penalties. There's probably positives and negatives to take from both. So how do you look at it as a collective across the two matches?
Um, I think I'd be a little bit disappointed, to be honest, if I'm Pedro and the players. I think at this stage, we maybe should be doing a little bit better. I think, especially the result against Finland, on paper, when you look at the players that we've got and the top quality we've got, then yeah, I thought we should have beat Finland, and especially the second half, we did have a lot of chances, and I think that's been a kind of issue with the national team. We're not really taking our chances, and yeah, we've shown that we can play really good football. We dominated possession in both of these games, but I think maybe in that final third we can be a lot more clinical, and sometimes it can cost us games. Which, especially in the second game, I think if we take our chances, it wouldn't get to the point where it's going down to penalties.
Yeah, I think it's all well and good having possession. You see the possession stats, but unless you're doing something with it, it's irrelevant. And that kind of came home to roost with the getting taken to penalties and then losing those penalty shootouts.
Yeah, penalties for me, it's just so unfair in football. But credit to Finland. They've managed to put the way in. Unfortunately for us, the goalie had two good saves, to be honest, as well. So yeah, but I think, like I said, I just think we could have won that game without it going to that point. And over previous campaigns as well, we've had similar situations that we found ourselves in, and I think Pedro needs to kind of, well, how do I say, without being not ruthless, but I just think that's something that we need to work on, and everybody can see it. And to be honest, I think Thomas is the one player up top that is a threat for us. And it's great to see Jane Ross back as well, fit. She's doing well for Rangers at the moment, and hopefully, if she gets back to full fitness and back within the national squad, we can get more goals from her coming back as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention there. Martha Thomas getting all of the goals. It's probably for how well we've been playing in recent years. It's probably the area that we've lacked in is someone to put the ball in the net. The toughest thing to do. I don't need to tell you that.
Yeah.
And that's the difference at this level. But when we had in the Nations League campaign, you had Damie Gallagher, Kirsty Howitt got brought in as well, and we were trying to bring players through to score those goals. Great seeing Jane Ross doing so well back from her injury with Rangers. But you feel with the talent that we have in midfield, we just need to make sure that we have people that can put the ball in the net.
Yeah, we've got top quality players in that midfield, and we have throughout the squad. I'm not, you know, speaking wrong turn at any player that's playing up front either. But also takes time to gel. When there's new strikers up front, different movements of strikers. Some come short, some go in behind, and that takes time. And unfortunately, I think with the national squad at the moment, we don't have that kind of time. With the next campaign coming up in April, we've got to turn the performances around and start getting more goals. And it's really good to see that Thomas is starting to, you know, secure her place up front. And she scored 33 caps, 13 goals. So, especially in the two games, consistency as a striker, two in the first game and then obviously scoring our goal against Finland in the second game. So that only gives her confidence, and it will and give her more belief in the squad as well, that we've got someone up top that can just be sniffing around that box in that area, which she has, and put the ball in the back of the net for Scotland. And we've seen that she's doing it as well at club level at Tottenham. At Man United, she was kind of going through an up and down spell, and then she's got her move to Tottenham, and she's certainly found her form there, and that can shows when she's playing now with the national squad.
Now, I think obviously the Nations League campaign was a disappointment. We finished bottom of the group. However, we got ourselves in a really good position to be playing in that top pot against the top teams. And if that's where we want to be, we need to be consistent with our performances, because we had a good performance against England, and then in the return game we get turned over. What was good about that campaign was seeing quite a lot of the younger players getting game time and opportunity, and I feel that the Pinitar Cup was good opportunity for that to happen, but it didn't really seem to work out that way. For example, Leah Eddy got taken along, didn't get to see enough of her. But for me, what's the point of taking these players? That's the future of our national team, and then not giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I like about Pedro. He does give the younger players the opportunity. But like you say, Leah Eddy, she's doing fantastic at Hibs, merited her place, an opportunity within the national squad. And he did rotate the two squads. There was different starters in certain positions in the both games. He didn't go with the same starting 11. Both games dropped the captain as well, dropped Corsie for the second game. So yeah, it was disappointing not to see maybe like Celia Eddy getting the opportunity to, prove herself and get maybe a position for the next campaigns coming up. And also as well, Lee Gibson, the goalie, I didn't see her getting an opportunity in any of the games over there. Anything can happen in goals. McIver's come in, done really well with the national squad. But yeah, I was really disappointed that I didn't see any of them featuring in both the games.
So just off the back, you mentioned Rachel Corsie. That is her now third all-time appearance holder for Scotland, a massive achievement, and she's creeping up on 150 international caps. So can you just kind of reflect on her time in the national team, what she's done in her career? She's obviously still doing it with Aston Villa and the WSL as well after her stint in America.
Yeah, what a fantastic role model Corsie is, played with her, and she was a born leader. I was never one of the kind of leaders in football. I was always the joker. But Corsie, when she came into the squad as a young player, you just knew right away that she was going to be the future captain of the squad. And, she's deserved all the caps that she's got. And, she's a credit to herself and our country. And yeah, she'll play a lot more games, I'm sure. She might tell you otherwise. She's getting older, but Corsie's certainly got the fitness and the mentality to keep pushing and keep driving the girls forward.
And a player that was great to see back, what seemed like in full flow was Erin Cuthbert. We really missed her towards the end of the Nations League campaign, but you just seen in her performances, she is that player that makes a difference, particularly with Caroline Weir out long term. But she gets the game by the scruff of the neck, everything goes through her, she drives the team forward, creating chances, getting shots away as well. But she is so imperative to our team now, and she really seems to be maturing in her performances. And especially in her earlier days at Chelsea, she was maybe a fringe player and in and out and an impact player, but certainly not anymore.
No, she's one of our key players, if not the key player in that midfield for us at the moment, with Sam Kerr as well, with Caroline Weir out as well. It was a huge loss for Scotland. But Erin, I've yet to see her play a game where I'm like, oh, Erin wasn't in the game. She's just a driving force in that midfield for us. Massive player, like talked about Chelsea, and she's matured really well in the game. Like you said, she was a fringe player at Chelsea, and she's just gone down there, soaked up all the advice that they've given, watched all the players around her, and you can totally see the difference in Erin from moving down to the WSL and playing amongst, all the other world-class players that there is at Chelsea. And like I said, what we said about Martha Thomas, like they bring that back to the national team. And, these players certainly stand out, and they stand out for their club now and their country. And yeah, Erin's such a huge player for us in that midfield. And she's just a workhorse. Like she's just a player that not only works hard on the ball, but she works hard off it defensively. And that's a player you want in your team.
We've got our next campaign coming up beginning in April as well. There's positives and negatives to take from the Nations League campaign and then obviously the Pinitar Cup there, but we should be full of, maybe not full of confidence, but the confidence to know that we can perform, but it can't just be if and when. It needs to be every single game if we want to make another major tournament.
Yeah, we said it earlier that, consistency, and, that's something that we haven't been of late. But the quality that the players have got, we've seen the quality that the team have got, and it's still the same players. Yeah, we've unfortunately had a few injuries, but I believe in every single one of that players that are on the pitch, even the bench, the players that come on, the quality that they have. So it's not something that we've not seen before, and we know that they're capable of doing it, and they believe in themselves. And obviously Pedro does, and what he is bringing to the table and the philosophy that he's trying to implement. So yeah, I just hope that we can start getting a little bit more results to try and get the confidence up within the squad. But yeah, I'm sure we've got time to turn it around and start getting more consistent performances.
No, that's great, Suzanne. Thanks as always for your input.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for watching SWPL My Story Scotland edition.